Hello, today we have a 5K chain we're doing, so I was just gonna record for a bit, do some of the chain. We're just now starting. It started at 1600, you can see up here, we're just a few seconds into it. So I should have set up already, but we're gonna go ahead and do it. First tab is going to be items, so we can do our meds and all that. Second is going to be the faction. Here we can keep the chain feed open, keep an eye on what's going on. To that end, we're also going to keep our faction chat open. And then we're going to get our targets. So for that, we're just going to open up enemies. The way I do it is you can use your enemies or targets list. I've always used enemies, so that's what I use. I have a keyword that I put for all my targets, which is XP. As you can see, a lot of them are already in the hospital. The reason for that is we currently have an attacking event going on. This is one of the smaller events in Torn, but it is World Population Day, and you get doubled leveling experience and weapon experience. The leveling experience, the most reliable way to level up in Torn is by attacking and leaving people. The higher the level, the better. And so that can increase your level faster. You can improve it further by using a weapon with the proficient perk on it, which is exclusive to SMGs. However, the reason this is still useful for me is the weapon experience. Whenever you complete your educations for combat training, the Bachelor provides you weapon experience right here. And so what this does is it improves the weapon damage and weapon accuracy for weapons that you regularly use. So every time you do an attack and the attack lands and does some amount of damage, you get experience. Here we can see I only have 52 experience on this Mag 7. This is why you'll see me use different and weird weapons from time to time. If we were to look at like the Armalite, this is 100 experience because the experience follows the gun, not the gun type, not the specific item. So all my Armalites are 100 experience because I have 100 experience with Armalite. Mag 7s, this one, is the one I'm using because it's has a special effect on it. I have 52 experience on that, but if I have just a normal one somewhere, you'll see that these are also 52 experience right there. So it follows the gun type. It can be good to level up specific weapons because there's some that play well with certain weapon perks. Mag 7 is one of those. It just has like really high accuracy and decent ammo management for shotguns. So if you can get like cripple or something like that on it, it's not bad. Shotguns are growing on me. They're not as good as rifles, but they do have certain niches that they perform better. So it's better to have the experience and not need it than need it and not have it. So that's why I've been working on shotguns at the moment. The goal with this is there are a couple of honor bars. This is like the achievement system in Torn. We touch on it a little bit in another video, but the honors are basically specific achievements where you can change the bar up here for your player, and it's just like reaching a certain goal. And then medals, they kind of just climb up over time, like commit, vandalism. So you just build them up slowly after time. Over here in honors, however, there's a couple we're still working on. We need 100% experience in 25 different weapons. You can see I only have 16 right now. So during this event where I get double weapon experience, as long as I'm hitting and doing damage with the weapon, I can get weapon experience for that and work towards this merit. So that's what I'm doing right now. So that's the objective. That's why we're going to use it. That's what this event is good for. So we're just going to go ahead and get into it. Let's just double check, see, make sure. If anyone's doing an attack, you can see it come up right here. Then if I close this chat, we can see join over here. That allows you to enter the fight if people are not doing so well. And you may see people in your faction asking for help. As long as you have this chain feed open, you can just join their attack. If you are using Battle Stats Predictor like this, you can just middle mouse the attack thing. This is a setting you have to do in Battle Stats Predictor, but you can just open up the attack from that. So that's why I have my chats like this, where I don't need that far right. I can just hit it if I need it. So that's what's going on. They're already at 100 hits, so we're going to do some hits as well. If you are doing a chain and it's not during this event and you're not worried about weapon experience, you don't need specific finishing hits, then see if your faction has Revitalize Weapons that they are sharing around. For us, we have these Thompsons right here, 15% and 16% Revitalize. What this is it's a chance that if you get the finishing hit with this weapon, you can get the energy spent to start the attack refunded to you. So it lets you do more attacks, and for chains, more attacks means building up for the chain bonus more quickly. Whenever this bar fills up, that's near chain bonus. These early ones, we will not worry about it. But as you reach these different bonuses, as long as you have chains unlocked up here, you will reach the next bonus and the chain will continue. And each one has a preset amount of respect that final hit is worth. So when we hit 250 respect, or 250 chain right here, we will have a predetermined respect hit that will be higher. The way that system works is it starts at 10 right here on chain hit 10, and then it doubles each time. So 10 is 10, 25 is 20, 50 is 40 respect, 100 hits makes 80 respect, so the 250th hit is going to be 160 respect. And it'll always be that, and of course, if you're hitting someone that's in a faction, they lose a quarter of that respect, so they go down by 40 respect. So what this is good for is it's good for getting certain merits. There's merits for earning a certain amount of respect in a single hit, and there's also those medals, which are for building respect. You can see I have my 100k respect right here. So you can work on those. Of course, you can also mess with other factions with that respect hit. If you get high enough, like into the 25, 50k respect, people will even sell their chain bonus to other factions that have beef with other factions. And you do the hit and they lose the respect. It gets to be a whole thing. Generally, though, you just want to make a hit that lands somewhere that benefits you. One thing our faction likes to do is kind of look for some abandoned factions or low respect factions in the Hall of Fame here. And we just go to like faction respect. And then if we page down right here, it changes the URL to which ranking the list starts at, so we can use that to our advantage. And I don't know, let's go to the 1100th faction by respect. So if we close this, we can see it's 250k, a little too high. Let's keep going. We're going to go to 1800. So this is the 1800th faction by respect. Still low. Let's just go to the 2800. Or actually, let's go to 12800. Here we're at 0 already. That's too far. Respect 0 factions are already destroyed. Everyone is removed. The leader at the time is recorded, and the name is locked out forever. When this happens, anything inside the faction is dumped to the leader. So if this faction was okay and had, a few billion in it, when it got destroyed, that cash would have been dropped into the leader, and then you could have mugged him to take the money. So that's what our faction likes to do. We will go to 10800. Here we have very good area for finding chain bonuses and landing them. Kind of this 2500 respect. While that 250 bonus was pretty low that we talked about, if we keep using that logic, let's pull this up, make sure nobody needs help. Generally for chains you want to not take risky hits. Everyone needs to do their own hits, so like assists are something that really should be avoided. You don't want to put yourself in that position, but it does happen, so I like to help out when I can. But if we follow our logic, start at 10 and double for each chain bonus, let's start seeing where that goes. So, actually, you know what, we'll just pull it up on the wiki, because they have a nice little right here. They have the hit number and the respect it earns. So 160 for the 250th hit, but we can start seeing that at 5k chain, we would be earning the amount of respect that we want to take away from one of these factions here that had about 2600, 2500. So we're getting kind of close to being able to destroy them in one hit. If we keep going on this chain, our 10k hit would earn us 5,000, and remember, a quarter of that is taken away from the target, so that means they're losing 1,280. So if we do a 25,000 chain, we earn 10,240 respect, and the opponent would lose a quarter of that, which would be 2,560 respect. So with our 25k hit, we could destroy about here and down, any faction here and down, in a single hit. So what we like to do is we like to kind of just kick through these factions, see any that look like they have wealthy players in them. They're all going to be inactive and all that. So, this guy's got a gambling tag, but he got feted pretty early, so he probably doesn't have any money. But, we go through like that, just kind of determine who we think is going to have some money on them, and then we'll hit them with our chain bonuses, destroy the faction in a single hit, and then start mugging the leader, seeing if we can make any extra cash off of them. This is like a 90% fail rate, unless you just know you have a good target. Generally, it's not going to produce anything for you. But it is a good way to use your chain bonuses and kind of do something a little different whenever you're chaining. And the key to being able to do this is by calling your hits during a chain bonus. So I don't think we'll have time to do that today, because we'll need to. I don't think our chain is going to be having any hits called until about 2,500 or 5K, and we're only going to 5K anyway, so we probably won't call much. If we open up our messages and look, well, I sent the last newsie about this, and I didn't even know what was happening, so I guess we're just kind of playing it by ear today. So we'll see what happens with the chain bonus and who's hitting it and all that. And so I don't think we'll get to that today. Maybe if I have time and it happens in a couple hours or something, I can start recording again and just record the chain bonus and make that its own video. People calling for the chain and all that. We'll see how that goes. But I think we've talked enough. It's already past 15 minutes and we haven't even started our hits. So let's get into that. We'll open up the tabs how we discussed before. We have what we're going to use for medical items and changing our temporaries and stuff. How do I want to set up I want the trigger on this shotgun. I'll take the lesser of the two lasers. Lasers do critical hit increase. The trigger has really high accuracy on the first turn, +5 weapon accuracy. And then the sight is just good accuracy for every hit. To me, weapon mods are fairly underwhelming. There are a few that could be really useful, but for the most part, I think they're due for an update and kind of revamp numbers and everything. Their last update was right before the weapon mechanics were changed. So they got updated about the same time as the weapon mechanic changes. But there's weapon mechanics for setting up for rank 4 weapons, and it completely changed how much these stats matter, and even what is important for weapon mods. So I think they're a little dated and they do need to be updated, but they still serve several purposes. They're only for guns, and they generally pull the stats of guns above melee weapons. Because in general, you have the Navy Cutlass, the Yazakuni, the Kodachi, Diamond Bladed Knife. These are all really good melee weapons that will have stats comparable to anything that guns can do. But once you factor in the weapon mods and special ammo, the guns become better again. So we are working on weapon experience. This bar right here is our weapon experience. So we'll be working on this Mag 7 and just dumping hits. And let's just go ahead and get into it. I'm going to set up our chain targets the way we want, and we're just going to run through and make hits. Ideally, you want to stay in 3 fair fight, but if you're slightly lower than that in our faction, we're not too worried about it. If you stay above 2.5 fair fight, then we're pleased with that. These will not be 2.5 fair fight for the most part. For what that means is if we go to our faction right here, we open up the chain. These bubbles are respect modifiers, and this first one is fair fight. It's determining how close your stats are to the enemies. 3 mil player fighting a 1 mil player, roughly 950k. He's getting about 2.5 fair fight, which is fairly ideal. That means that he's getting good respect. You can see his respect is 4 versus everyone else's 2s and 1s around here. And it's not going to be a hard fight for him. He's not going to be losing life or anything like that, for the most part. Of course, you can see people here hitting their 3x, the full fair fight, the full color on the bubble, and it's worth 6 respect. level plays a small role in this, and another factor can be warlord weapons, so I actually want to open up that. I missed it, it's already gone, but there's another one. So let's go ahead and open that up. Look at that attack log. Yeah, he's not using warlord or anything, he's just doing 6 respect hits. It's pretty impressive. Level 97. I think the difference between level 1 and 100 now is like 25% more respect for hitting a level 100 versus a level 1. So level doesn't really matter anymore, but it used to. It used to be a much bigger factor for respect. Now it's just the big factor for experience instead. But yeah, they're already getting towards the 500 bonus, so let's go ahead and hit all these enemies we lined up here. So because this attacking event is going on, I have much fewer targets, so I'm not going to be able to get the good fair fight that I'm aiming for. Here we can see these are 2.17. It's not the worst in the world, but it's not ideal. And that was a very easy fight for me to do. I saved all these targets from missions that I had done in the past. I think that's a good way to keep a log of targets for different things. Here, this guy's got assault on. I'm just gonna spam the mag 7 because his armor can block it, and my goal is not necessarily to win the fight as fast as possible. Each attack that lands and does damage counts for weapon experience. So since my goal is weapon experience, I was able to hit like that and get as much experience as I could with the weapon on this fight. And how do I want to beat him? I guess I'll just hit him like that. And we're going to leave. The reason you want to leave targets is because them being in the hospital doesn't hurt them. What it does is it hurts you. Because the more times you can attack, the more times you get rewarded. So leaving has the lowest hospital time. He's only in there for 25 minutes, so he will be ready and out of the hospital for us to hit again. And this is true whether you're chaining or ranked wars or whatever. The only exception to this would be territory wars where you want to keep people off the wall. But even that, there's some very interesting high-level stuff we could talk about at some point where leaving or losing is the better option. But we will talk about that when we have an opportunity to do a war like that. Big territory wars don't happen, but like once every few years. So it'll be a while before we see it. As you can see, because of this attacking event, our targets are dissipating rather quickly. I'm actually going to change off of my tracers, the things that were increasing my weapon accuracy by +10, and just use standard ammo for the mag 7. I just want to dump hits anyways. They do need to land, but I don't need to be using fancy ammo for this. You can see that the cripple is reducing their dexterity. That's actually why I like shotguns so much. You have a really high weapon accuracy, and then you can lower their dexterity to actually hit them. I will tend to pair it with like a empower sword that can do increased strength in case I attack someone with really high defense, and then I will keep this on for a cripple weapon or something with really high accuracy. A quicken pistol is another thing you can use if you're not using cripple shotguns. And quicken will increase your speed, so it kind of negates their dexterity. But yeah, so empower swords, quicken pistols, and then just whatever you want on your primary. Generally, the way I like to play things is I like to kind of use front-loaded builds. So I will actually put like an assassinate rifle and an HEG on, and then I will hit with the assassinate do increased damage there, and then hit with that HEG, which does a lot of damage just once, because temporaries you only have once. And generally with that method, you can do your attacks really, really fast. For this event, that's the opposite of what we want. We don't want fast attacks, plus we want to hit with a specific weapon. So that's why we're working on this the way we are. And we are just doing our attacks. Let's pull up our faction chat just in case people need anything. And also, this is a great time to just hang out with people. Usually I'm chatting people, goofing off with them, that kind of thing. It's a time when a lot of people are on, so it's a good time to talk to others. But having a presence in your faction chat is kind of important for your own ability to play Torn, because your friends are going to know what the faction wants, and that's how you make friends, is by talking to people, communicating. Actually, I think I need weapon experience with cattle prod still. Yeah, I'm only at 55%. So talk to people, hang out with them. People may think that Torn is kind of its own game where you're doing what you want to do. It's more like a social media platform where you can just kill the people you don't like. That's a better way to think about it than a traditional RPG. And that's why there's players that have been around for 20 years, because they have friends that they just talk to, hang out with, their own little social circles and goals that they're building up to for years and things like that. That's the real appeal of Torn. It's very different than anything else I've ever played or tried or anything like that in that respect, because the game's almost second to the social elements. But there is a game here, and it's a very in-depth game, and I think that's what keeps people engaged with it, because that also gives people things to talk about, explore, experiment with. Needs a bail. Let's finish this fight. Okay. Alright, thanks. Okay. Well, that's not good. But, yeah, we're just doing our hits. That's all there is to this. We are getting close to that chain bonus, that 500 hit. You'll just have to kind of memorize the bonuses. They're arbitrary, but they're not like hard to remember at all. It's 100, 250, 500, 1,000. Kind of simple. And then from there it's 2,500, then 5,000, 10,000. So I mean, the pattern's there. And we're doing our hits nicely. We're at 55 experience. We started at 52. This is Torntools that's putting up my weapon experience right here. So, reload and just keep hitting. It's still at 55 experience. I may have wanted to use... Stats are a little higher than I was expecting. Yeah, let's tier. I'll just use the pistol the rest of the way. Okay. This pistol is using Wither, which lowers their strength. I have defense, so if I lower their strength, that just compiles how much damage I can endure. This guy was hitting me a little harder than I was expecting. He had better gear. Generally, when you're doing mission hits, most people are not running decent loadouts. This guy had Wither and Weaken, which I didn't get any debuffs on me. But ranked war weapons also have increased stats compared to normal weapons. So that did get a little scary. I was at half-life when I started. We had stats comparable to mine, so just use life. I think we'll only use that one. We'll have our regen tick in a couple of seconds here. That'll make up for a lot of it. The reason my life is so high is because at level 100, you hit 7,500, and I am wearing my Marauder today, which is providing increased life. So each piece increases your max life, and then for having a full set, you get a boost to the effect for that armor set. So whenever you're wearing like full Marauder, full Riot, whatever you're wearing, having the full set does boost these effects. So that takes me from 7,500 to some other number. I think it's around 9,000. And then also for our chain, we go into war mode on our upgrades. You can actually toggle between two different sets of perks for your faction. When you leave war mode, you have a cooldown on peace mode before you can jump back into war mode, though. And that is to prevent people just having all these perks and doing weird things like happy jumps with minimal respect and stuff like that. It also makes sure like you don't want to get off of war mode and start being peaceful until you're ready to, because if you do, then if someone hits you after you switch to peace, they have a few days to bully you and leave you vulnerable to whatever they want to do. So this fortitude branch right here is medical items. You can see it reduces hospital time and all that kind of stuff. Medical cooldown. This is life regeneration. This is why I'm getting like 1,000 life every 5 minutes, 1,100. And then medical effectiveness. This is why our blood pack healed so much. So this is really important to have for whenever you're doing ranked wars or walls or anything like that. And you chains, it's really, really nice. This suppression branch is why I have more life, though. So, suppression, where aggression focuses on damage, it's speed and strength. And then you can get increased hospital time and just straight up weapon boost, as well as weapon accuracy. Suppression gives you max life, and life is very, very important to Torn. This is like one of the best perks for combat right here. Up here we have escape. There are reasons to use this, but they're very niche. You're never going to really need this. Personally, I think the dexterity stat buff that it provides, 50% per step, needs a little rethinking. I would put it at like 10% right here, and then just double it like chain bonuses each time, so it's like in the thousands when you have it fully upgraded. The reason I would do that is because this is going to limit how many people it's useful to try to escape with. Instead of factoring in dexterity and dodging a hit, you really just need to kind of cheese the fight by using like a cattle prod to stun them and then run away while on their stun turn or something like that. Like weapons do a better job of helping you escape than this escape perk does. So we don't even run it unless we're doing territory wars or something like that. But you are taking a hit for having this bonus if you are in a faction that doesn't have millions of respect. You are taking a hit taking this perk because the rest of it is not that special, just this max life. That is very, very important. Ooh, I shouldn't have closed that. I don't remember the hotkeys for doing it, but we just need to be there anyway. Open up our stuff. Hit all our enemies, so we're just going to refresh the page with F5. Still has our keyword and our OK status, so we'll just line up more hits. Start getting through it. We still got plenty of energy to burn. I had stacked on 2 Xanax plus used my cans, and you can see I don't have booster cooldown right now. I do want to get back down to being able to have booster cooldown, which I guess I could. Check my weapon or drug cooldown real quick. Yeah, I've got an hour on that, so I can't take my cans now. So I'll just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Gives me a nice 150 energy for these 20 cans because our faction is using a perk for increasing energy drink effect by 50% right here. This is very useful all the time. This is called Veracity Branch, and it's good for the candy effect for newer players. It's good for the alcohol effect for everybody. And it's great for energy drinks, so you can be getting more from your drinks to do more hits. It's a really good perk whether you're in war or peace, though what you're prioritizing might be a little different. That's enough about faction perks. The goal of this video is just to kind of talk about chains and hits and respects and hang out with y'all a bit. I find that like a lot of Torn is like not knowing what you need to know until you need to know it. So I do want to record any sort of faction events where things might come up like this. A lot of it's going to be redundant from video to video, but hopefully there's just like a little tidbit in each one. And here people like to watch these videos like while they're doing something else and listen to them, just getting more into Torn and involved with it and hearing things about it. So that's what you like, then hopefully you can kind of pick up these things over time as we go through these kind of faction events and stuff like that. I do categorize these under the Let's Talk videos because they're supposed to be very, very casual and not well planned out and just talking as we go. But the Let's Talk I do have a topic I want to talk about. And so my idea behind categorizing these as Let's Talk videos was we were going to be talking about the event that we're working on. I think I may change that around, and so like if there's a specific event, like this World Population Day, then I would still categorize this as like let's talk about the World Population Day event. But otherwise, I might do another category for just like chains and ranked wars and termed wars and all that stuff. And so I'll be thinking about a title to put those under. I do want to use different titles for my videos, so like the video guides that are very explicitly for like new players are clear for them to find and follow, while the stuff that is more generalized or for other audiences like this right here, this is not something that a beginning player is going to see how to do their hits and all that. So it's beneficial for them, but it's not the same thing as like the beginner's guide to weapons where I talk about each stat and all that kind of thing. So I do want to kind of rethink how I do the videos a little bit. The goal of my videos was just to have video guides to help new players and people in my faction, because a lot of the things in Torn, when you start discussing them, they're actually really difficult to put into text. It's much easier to just show what you're doing rather than tell. And there are people that do make other Torn YouTube videos that touch on things, but I think a lot of it is rather niche or trying to appeal to a YouTube audience rather than the Torn audience, if that makes sense. Like there's things like, oh, how you get rich in this game, which everyone wants to know in Torn, but the discussion for Torn is more about economics than some kind of one weird trick type thing. And that's not to say that that's not any sort of disrespect to the people that are making torn videos. I've seen several really, really good torn videos by other people. What I'm trying to say by that is, like, torn players are just a different breed, really. That's what it comes down to. And I like this community a whole lot, and I want it to keep its identity. But I do want new players. I want that new blood always coming in. I want people to be excited about Torn and all that. So if I can make a video guide that's going to help a new player and kind of explain things the way I think they should be explained rather than like what a YouTube viewer is going to want, then I think that's beneficial. So you're not going to see much editing. You're going to hear a lot of ums and hums in all my videos because I'm not really using any sort of script or plan or anything. The most I'll do is open up a spreadsheet and record kind of the things I definitely want to hit in the discussion. But this conversation's getting really meta while I'm hitting. I guess that's alright. I have been keeping an eye over here and watching to see if anybody has anything that's going on. Not seeing anything. One thing you can do to kind of spice up your hits is work on missions. So I think I'm going to kind of switch gears and do some missions. I never do my missions. I'm terrible at this. I have this attitude of it's better to fail or decline missions to get this disposition down so they like you less, so you get easier targets. Because a lot of these things, they'll have you hit a target that is just way, way, way out of your league. And, you know, like this guy right here, he has 2 hours before I can hit him. So I'm on his schedule rather than at my own schedule. We check his revive. You know, it's not terrible, but it's not good where people are trying to hit him. So I don't even want to do this. I'm just going to decline it. The other thing you can do is accept it and willfully let it fail, and that will get Duke to like you less. The less he likes you, the more likely it is to have better targets. And like this was a medium target, so he's going to have relatively easy stats. Let's see where he's at. 5.4 bill. I can hit him easy. But I also don't want to do this because I'm not going to be chaining in 2 hours when he comes out, and I don't want to use my energy to revive him or pay for a revive, so I'm just going to do that. 90% of the time it's fine to do things like this, especially if you've unlocked revives through the starter education, the medical education. Your faction, ours in war mode, it does have the revive energy. Actually, I have a faction right here. You can go here to upgrades, and then it's the same thing with the medical items and stuff. Revive is in here, right here. So the base revive energy is 75, and the faction perks drop it down to 25. I've always disliked this. I think like it'd be cool if factions could have some players that revive for them, which would mean like just changing how the reviving mechanics work, so that like this is the revive cooldown management while the player controls like how much energy it costs, something like that. Maybe a drug, maybe some other perk, something like that. But you have to be running fortitude with this revive thing to be able to revive effectively, because 75 energy is just not worth it. But excuse me. Ooh. Does he need help? No, he does not. He got that hit. That was good. 2.5 bill respect, hitting someone with 50% more respect. His low life. Let's look at that log. Let's see how he did. Whoa, that was the wrong log. Let's see here. Miss. Enemy hit with a minigun. Wow, that's not good. All hits with PI rounds, does a ton of damage. Dude hits again with a chainsaw, that's weird. And he finishes him off with his HEG, which is just kind of like a guaranteed hit. You're not really going to miss with that. It's got like 115, 116 accuracy. So that's really good. He handled that really well. That was cool. But yeah, we can keep an eye on things here. So let's see what our last mission is. Expend ammunition. This is good for miniguns or machine gun. Any sort of machine gun is good for this because they spend a lot of ammo and their stats are pretty good. They kind of sit just below Armalite in stats and expend a lot of ammo. They're also the most expensive because the ranked war weapons can only be are the highest ranked. The heavy arms cache is the only place where you get the machine guns. But they do have some really cool perks like suppress and smurf. So they can be really good, but I don't want to use a machine gun right now. I'm actually going to accept this and let it fail as well. My Mag 7's got like 4 rounds, I think, so I'm not going to be able to do this with my Mag 7, but if I let it fail, I'll get this disposition down, I'll get more medium contracts and less expert contracts. That makes it easier and just less energy for mission credits. You know, I'm very mission credit poor, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm not in any sort of rush, so it's fine for me. The thing I want mission credits for is these weapon mods. This right here is actually exactly what I want, the extra magazines. So actually, if I do this, I can get that, but it expires in 15 minutes, so no, I can't. Because I can't spin that many rounds that fast. There are guns that are designed just to burn through ammunition. The egg launcher, which is the special loot from the Easter Bunny during the Easter event, it will shoot like several hundred eggs or something like that, so you can get the rounds of ammunition done really fast. The gun's rare, and it's only good for doing missions and doing the merits related to ammunition. It would be a great thing for a faction to have in its armory, though. See how much they cost, though, because cost is always egg propelled. No. What's it? Oh, it may not be listed in the item market. Yeah, there's not one listed. We go to Torn Wiki Egg Propelled Launcher. Looted from the Easter Bunny, uses egg ammo, and it has a rate of fire of 250 to 500, so we could basically get that mission done in one hit, but it's so rare, like there's not even any on the item market to buy. And do you want to drop like billions for doing a mission? As a faction purchase, it kind of makes sense because like that's kind of the point of what factions do, is consolidate money for getting the sort of things that are not really cost effective for players to commit to, like Revitalize and Warlord weapons and that sort of thing. But yeah, I got Tempt. It's a flashbang right on me. Can I still hit? Nope. Minus 74% speed. We'll just wait that out and then finish this attack. And so yeah, maybe I can talk to my faction about budgeting for a propelled launcher eventually, because that would be good for merits and stuff. Here we can see our chain is getting up there. We're getting close to 1,000. I don't know if we're calling for the 1,000 or not. Might be worth asking. Should have said hello already in here. Are we calling for the 1,000? Does anyone need bonus? This video is getting close to an hour now. We will be wrapping it up here soon. I think you get the idea of how this works. Hopefully your attention span is a lot better than mine, and you can get through your attacks much more quickly than I am here. Maybe not, though. That's alright, too. Slow hitting, which is like taking your time to hit or intentionally waiting for a certain amount of time between these hits, since a chain breaks after 5 minutes, is very, very valuable. There's a whole system called chain guarding, which I should have that table open up, but I'm kind of just practicing chain guarding. Yeah, I'll open it up after this video. But the idea is just like, since the chain can get low if people aren't hitting, that you have one person on that will like wait until 2 minutes and either have Torntools or something, give them alert, and then they just hit to keep the chain alive. For ranked wars, usually this person flies overseas somewhere inconvenient, so the other faction has to send 1 or 2 people out to get them. But yeah, that keeping your chain alive is very, very important, and slow hitting, just taking your time doing your hits, can help a lot. Just make sure you keep an eye on that timer. You have some sort of system, some script or something that's letting you get an alert when your chain gets low. Yeah, I have mine set up through Torntools, and it will give me an alert every, I think it's at 2 minutes, 90 seconds. Then it gives me some time and drops down to like 45, 30, and 15 seconds. It's good if you're chain guarding to just keep a single target, generally like a level 1 that you can just one-shot, and then that way you can just open the tab and do the hit in case you're doing other stuff while you're chaining or whatever. Maybe you're chatting or something. Let's read these comments. Yep, here we have the discussion of what we talked about with like destroying factions, going through the Hall of Fame. Azrael saying he'd like to hit one with the 1,000, but yeah, it's not enough respect yet to be doing that. He's asking which merit you get for doing the 1K hit, and it's Massacre, and that is correct. So that's correct. There's honors for hitting 10 respect, 100 respect, and 1,000 respect, I think it is. Let's see. Single hit that earns 10 respect. This is achievable without even a chain bonus. You saw people were hitting like 6 respect. If you do a war hit, it doubles the respect, or maybe it's 50%, I don't remember. Just increases it to about 10 respect per hit. So this is very easy to achieve. You're not going to need a chain bonus for that. But if we keep going down here, let's keep going. Where is the better Massacre? There it is. They've changed these honor bars, so I don't even recognize them. This one used to be orange. We see that it is 100 respect or more. And yeah, that's the 1K chain bonus will allow you to do that. There's several merits for chaining different achievements, like this one, making 100 hits in a single chain. If you have a full energy bar stacked up to 1,000, that's 40 hits, and then your refill is going to give you 6 more, putting you at 46. Hopefully you don't have a drug cooldown when you start, so that puts you at 56. So then you need your chain to go on a while, or using boosters or whatever to get rest of the way there. Certain things like the green egg or love juice during the Valentine's event will let you comfortably do that. It's just a single stack of energy, be able to hit 100 hits like that. Let's keep going. Where's our genocide now? Some of these look really good. I haven't actually looked through them since they started getting updated. There it is. Hit 1,000 or more respect. I think this starts at 5,000, maybe 2,500. We can count, or we can go to that page to find out. So that was Torn Wiki chaining. And we reach 1,000 respect at 2,500. So yeah, this one just gives massacre. Next one starts giving genocide and massacre. So if you have a faction with players that need that bonus, let them do their hits. Then when you get to the chain bonus, you just call and let them get the finishing hit on the target you need them to hit. And they can get merits, and you can remove some respect from someone. You can earn a lot of respect. It's a nice little system. I need to do more cans. So there, I need to do 5 hits in 3 minutes. That shouldn't be too hard. Let's just go ahead and do that. Here's hit number 1. Hopefully we get that assault guy that can kind of eat up some of these mag hits. We are at 60% already, so this event is helping quite a bit. I wonder if I shouldn't be doing my cattle prod first. What you can do, since the cattle prod does so little damage, you can just sit here and spam it. You get 25 turns to attack. This is why the cattle prod's so good, is because you can just stun someone while you're defending, and they can miss a bunch of their turns. So we'll get it down. Each one of these, as long as it does some amount of damage, it doesn't matter how much, it just needs to connect and deal some amount of damage, it's going to get experience. So we can sit here, take our turns up to like 20, and we'll go one more. And then we can finish them off with the gun we were intending to train with. That was 55 experience. It's still 55. It's unfortunate. It might be lag. No, it still says 55. Let's go to our items, refresh, go to melee. Oh, we can just flip right here. 57, so we got 2% experience from that one attack. These low damage things are great for weapon experience because of that. Pillow, plastic sword, rusty sword, and cattle prod. So yeah, we'll just start spamming these hits. It's real nice. This guy does have assault though, so let's do some hits with this too. There we go. We'll leave him and we'll do the next hit. Already down. We still need to do one more in 1 minute 30 seconds so we can refill and start our next attack. So just line up a few more hits. Spam right here. Torntools, I guess, is taking a while to update the weapon experience. I think we can get one more in. Then we'll hit with the mag and leave. I might be wanting to finish hits with the cattle prod actually, so that I can get mechanical. Each weapon falls under these different weapon types like machine and shotgun that we've been talking about. Mechanical weapons, there's very few of them. It's just the chainsaw, taser, cattle prod, and I think there's one other. I'm drawing a blank. For the longest time it was just the taser and the chainsaw. Personally, I think the angle grinder should be a high-end mechanical weapon, because it seems pretty much designed to be the sort of weapon that would be beneficial and have high stats and all that. Maybe I can suggest that or something. That would be cool. Let's go back to our targets. Do not have enough energy. We did our hits. And we need to refill and start that hit in a couple of seconds. Let's see if we can just boop, boop. And it just flipped over, so we will see in a second if we actually started the fight soon enough. The energy is deducted as soon as you start the fight, not when you finish the fight. And that can be fun for that Revitalize perk that refunds your energy if you get the finishing hit, because you can wait until a tick change like that, and we'll see here. Oh, it's not updating. We can see that when we lose energy, the energy tick can happen and we'll get 5 energy. So like if we were at 150, we go down to 125. The tick happens, so now we're at 130 because we get our 5 energy from the clock. And then we can get the had to do that on the 25th hit there. Then we can get that on the Revitalize and get that 25 energy back, so we go from 130 to 155, so you can actually stack 5 energy from a Revitalize. And yeah, we did get that energy regen there. Even though we only had a few seconds, we were able to hit and get that 5 energy, so we're at 130 instead of 125. And how much was 229 for 2 bill? That's pretty good. It's not bad. Okay, let's keep going. I like this strategy of just kind of spamming the hits with the cattle prod and then finishing them off with the mag 7 since it's going to do more damage anyways. This is getting decent weapon experience. I used to do this back in the day for this cattle prod, but I'd always forget to run it because just like the damage is not the thing that matters on this. The reason I want experience on it is it also increases the weapon accuracy level, so that can be useful. So we'll do it again. That's assault though. Let's just hit with the get one more in. No. Okay. We're almost out of the energy we can comfortably use. I've already used the can. I train cans anyways. I don't recommend people just chaining with cans. But since I train on cans anyways, it's no different from, like, either way, wherever the energy comes from, it doesn't really matter for me. So I just use the same cans that I would train with during my chain. I'm going to be using cans anyway, so it doesn't matter. Then I've got 30 minutes on my Xanax still. I took it rather late, so that's why that's like that. And we will just spam the cattle prod, get more weapon experience. The experience does get slower as you increase it. I don't remember how many total hits the experience takes, but I do know that being able to spam a ton of hits like this is really nice. Just finish. Well, we were supposed to be doing mechanical finishing hits. Let's remember to do that from now on. Each weapon has 100 hit merit, then there's 1 merit. It's 1k hits for every weapon. Exactly why I kind of want to do mechanical finishing hits. Nice thing about this is all these stuns means they can't even really do much damage to me. They're not getting that many hits in. I need to take it more seriously though. And we will leave and we will use a blood bag. I think this is only our 2nd blood bag, so we are doing good. And we'll regen some in 40 seconds. But this video is over an hour now, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Really appreciate y'all hanging out with me. We talked about several different things. We talked about respect and faction perks and weapon experience and kind of strategies for missions and chains and all those things. We had a little bit of a meta conversation about the channel, which never really finished, but at least you got some thoughts on that. And so I'm going to wrap things up. Really appreciate you watching this. Appreciate you hanging out with me. I do enjoy the Torn community, and I hope you enjoy it as well. And I would like to make more videos that are edifying for you, so just let me know in the comments if you have any questions about anything you've seen here, anything we talked about, or anything else Torn related. And if you don't have a question, then I would like to ask you to provide feedback on what you think about a title for these, like a category or playlist name for these videos where we just kind of talk while we do some kind of event. I do want to do more like this that is less about the education and more about kind of just exploring the different things in Torn that come up as they come up. I think it's fun. I have always wanted to just have people to play Torn with. We have a really great faction here, but it's also good to just kind of talk to people, you know. So, you have a good one. Hope you enjoyed this. I hope something in it was edifying. I know it wasn't very education oriented, but appreciate you being here, and I'll catch you in the next one.